Premier Wrestling with WWE Backlash. It's a little later today, literally hours away as we speak. Um, it takes place in Louis, Missouri, at the
Stuff, Lewis.
Yeah, ST.
Saint. Saint.
I don't think CM Punk's on this card. The Second City Saint.
Hey, man. That's Nelly's hometown. I mean, you've heard of Nelly.
Um, if I wanted to ride with him, sure.
There
Um,
you go.
I understood that reference. Um, Enterprise Center, the tagline is one last time. But I'm sure that they're going to do it again. Um, Weirdly enough, only 5 matches. I mean, it's what they've been doing, but I could have sworn like they had more matches planned for the show. And charging as much as they're charging for these tickets, it won't kill them to put maybe like a 6 or 7 match on the card. But I digress. Um, the card as a whole, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, but that's the NXT formula. 5 matches. It gives them, what, 5 matches, 2 hours, get 30 minutes of breathing time each match, 20 to 30. They get a time to tell a story. And I'm thinking there's going to be impromptus in it anyway, so I wouldn't dig into it too deep.
You think so?
It would have to be.
Well, let's get into the matches that are announced. We got Rey Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio defending the Intercontinental Championship against Penta El Zero Mero Octagon Pentagon All the Cons Penta
Hexagon.
Hexagon.
Nonagon. I'm a math guy. Trust me. I can go there.
Look at you with knowing all your guns.
I mean, hey, you know what I'm saying? Pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon, nonagon. Hey, math camp came in handy for wrestling. Look at that.
Who wins the match?
The greatest Mysterio of all time. That's according to them. Dom.
Yeah.
Although I do see the jealousy coming in, though. Ooh, man.
You think that Balor's gonna backstab Dominic right out of the gate?
Nah, I think they're gonna save that for SummerSlam.
That would make more sense, I would say.
I see a Finn Dom SummerSlam Intercontinental for the Judgment Day coming. It's literally in the pike hole. It's literally a softball.
I mean, it kind of feels like Dom is getting over as a face now. So, yeah, it would make sense to maybe pull that trigger.
And Finn out there recruiting, doing some recruiting on the side. So, hey,
They could be Street Trash, as he wanted to rename the group.
Nah, because that would be too close to the Damien angle.
Well, I mean, his name is Backstabber Balor. I mean, it's literally his name. So it's like evil turning on Naito and not being able to see it coming. His name is literally evil. You know what I mean?
I mean, true, but not yet. Not yet. That's slow burn.
Right. So Penta for the L.
I mean, he's already pinned him. What the fuck? It ain't like that they didn't get pinned. He already got pinned by Dom. Well, let's fuck this. A pin in Vegas is the same as a pin in St. Louis.
We had a fatal four-way match for the WWE United States Championship. We have Jacob Fuck You, La Knight, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Who wins?
Jacob Fatu is gonna killer combo every motherfucker in there. The question is just who takes the pin.
My question is, why is Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre in this match? You have two heavyweight, champions, former champions, going for a secondary title.
Gives them a reason to keep fighting, because I got a feeling that one of them two are gonna take the pin. Seems like Priest would take the pin due to McIntyre screwing him, and it keeps LA Knight saying you didn't pin me and I didn't get a one-on-one quote quote rematch, and going back, and so that way that'll keep going. So the match is serving two purposes at the same time.
I gotcha.
To me, it would be like, that's how my brain's looking at it. So like, Priest and McIntyre can keep kind of nudging without having to do an official match, and then Knight can keep going after the U.S. title that he lost but never got a one-on-one rematch.
Well, I mean, why is Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest still feuding at this point? I mean, he beat him in Vegas at WrestleMania. I mean, both guys need to go on to bigger and better things, in my opinion.
But that makes it. But according to the math, it makes it 1-1 because Priest pinned McIntyre at Chamber.
Well, if we're getting super technical about it, a Priest is 3 to Drew McIntyre's 1. You have
that's enough. Yeah, cash in. Yeah, it's honestly, that was a year in the making.
Yeah.
That was a year in the making because, I mean, Drew's petty, and he got, you know what I'm saying?
He is not petty.
Was just,
he is justified, and he told that to you, to your face, Kaliko.
That is true. He is very justified, and but he was so busy targeting Punk, and then after Punk, he went straight to Damian. Wait, no, Punk, Jay, Damian. He knows who he's chasing. It's just like he's just going after everybody.
Yeah, he is. All right. The most what's the word? Polarizing. The most polarizing match on the card. Pat McAfee versus Gunther. Personally, I like the idea of giving Pat McAfee a match against Gunther, but the internet wrestling community, being the internet wrestling community, has shit all over this. We hate Pat McAfee. You're killing Gunther. What the fuck's going on here? I think it's just good storytelling, and I think it's going to be a good match. And it's going to keep Gunther strong. If there's one thing that WWE does well is protect Gunther. So, I mean, he's not going to take a tap-out loss to Jey Uso at WrestleMania and then lose to Pat McAfee the next month. Not even the next month, like 2 weeks later. What say you, Kaliko?
Okay. So, let me get this straight. The internet wrestling community is mad because Gunther is not invoking his rematch clause only to lose to Jey Uso again. That's essentially what they're saying. Because that would be the only direction. I mean, that's the only path that would go, right? because he's not until the draft. Until the draft. And if he gets drafted, what, Gunther Cena? But I don't see them doing Gunther Cena. So
heel on heel.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, I personally think this is Pat McAfee's funeral. And I'm gonna tell you right now, people, this is going to get the most eyeballs on Gunther that you've ever seen in your life. And I can only point to Exhibit A when Pat McAfee had that beef against the Undisputed Era and Adam Cole. And how hot was Adam Cole in the mainstream because he was fighting Pat McAfee?
I mean, yes, you could definitely say, Adam Cole got over wrestling, Pat McAfee. But could you say the same thing about Austin Theory?
Austin Theory did. I'll put it this way. Austin Theory got overshadowed by Vince McMahon. That match got, and I was there, that match got overshadowed by A, Vince McMahon, and B, Stone Cold. Them two coming out took more of the oxygen out the match than anything.
Okay, I could buy that.
So
I could agree with that.
Because it went from a theory. It went from a theory. But keep in mind, Theory lost, but then McMahon went in and started beating his ass. So I mean, it took the air out of it. No, but a guy like Gunther but a guy like Gunther who's going to put him at the St. Louis hospital for damn sure is going to be a bigger thing, because I can see, and Pat McAfee's going to be the guy that bigs him up in the process too, because Pat McAfee could be the guy he's going to take that ass whooping. He's going to be gone for like a month and a half, and then he's going to come back like that motherfucker. Ooh. And I think that is what Gunther needs more than anything, because it's one thing for us to say that he's a monster heel in the wrestling community, quote unquote. It's a different scenario when he's being told that he's a monster heel on the Pat McAfee show on a ESPN globally televised TV show. Because that is where it's going to go. And if you don't think Pat McAfee has been bigging up his potential match against Gunther, you're smoking crack. So that's the whole point, is to make him to me, this is a way to make him a mainstream heel. And I have no qualms with it, because it gets him probably the biggest exposure that he's had in mainstream media, period.
I agree with that.
Period. No one, and that's something no one can argue with. If done correctly, this match, it will put him in that mainstream atmosphere of being a mainstream badass, to where it can propel him. Because, I mean, keep in mind, he won King of the Ring. No one gave a shit. People gave a shit, but they didn't even give a shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He wasn't on the first Raw on Netflix, and he's the world champion.
Right.
That tells you, like, everything you need to know, honestly.
True. Also, if you look at the story, and this is the other thing I was thinking about a couple days ago. It was funny because I had this on my mind. The story of Gunther. On your mind? I mean, yeah, go figure. But the story of Gunther is what is the one thing? What is the one thing Gunther hates more than anything in the world? It's being embarrassed or being seen as less class.
Being
That,
disrespected.
or I mean, you could say disrespected, but I would say being regarded as less than.
Right.
Because his argument to Michael Cole was not the fact that he lost. The argument was how he spoke about him.
Right.
So that's his character. And that's the thing where people are like, oh well, but that's the Achilles heel of him because he perceives himself as a person who is an affluent student of the game, a guy who went to the right wrestling schools and been with the right things and does right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's been taught the best of the best, so therefore he considers himself the best of the best, which is why when he loses to someone like Jey Uso, who he considers less than him, it irks him. And then the fact that the commentary was kind of biased towards it rather than regarding him, in his eyes as the best of the best, it irks him.
Right.
He crashed out. Simple as that. And that's the story. I mean, my 41 years on Earth, I can see that coming. But he's gonna beat the shit out of fucking Pat McAfee. That you could bet your ass on that. I mean, McAfee's gonna get some offense, but Gunther about to fucking. Remember when Minoru Suzuki was supposed to face Orange Cassidy, and I said it was gonna be a funeral? That's exactly what the fuck's gonna happen right now. Because keep in mind, Gunther has not touched the ring since Mania 40.
Yes. So
he gonna put a fucking woodshed on his ass.
he's gonna give him those hands.
Oh, he's gonna get more than hand.
Yeah. So no, I I agree with you. There's a story. There's underlining themes here. It makes sense. But if you're just looking at as Pat McAfee versus Gunther, for no reason, cold open, then yeah, it's probably going to not make sense, and it's probably going to suck as well, a la AEW. Um, but they put the story in place. We know why they're wrestling. Pat had a banger of a promo last Monday. And it gets you excited to see Pat McAfee's funeral. And
Yeah, if you hate Pat McAfee, this is the thing you want to see.
right. And I'm not. I like Pat McAfee, but I think one thing that's underrated about Pat is that he could sell. He's good at selling. And I don't think that people, give him that credit as much as, they could. But yeah, I think that this is going to be a banger, in my opinion.
This could be the match of the night.
Depending on how it goes, yeah, it definitely could. Another match of the night, and we'll both agree, Gunther is winning the match. I don't think that there was a second.
Gunther's beating the piss out of him. Yeah, Gunther's beating the shit out of him. It ain't even fun. It not even fun. Not even close balls. Beating the brakes off of him.
Alright, then we have the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Lara Valkyria versus Becky Hogan. I mean Becky Lynch.
How dare you?
No, I love Becky.
Becky Hogan. Jesus Christ.
People been shitting on Becky. People turned on fucking Becky Lynch. It tells you how, assholian the internet wrestling community has gotten. I
don't think they turned on her. They still love her ass.
I mean, they love her ass, but I mean, her personality and how they're booking her. they're starting to turn on her. Um, so
I don't see how.
I don't understand what, again, I'm ride or die Becky Lynch, but they don't like Becky Lynch now. She's Becky Hogan. She's like Charlotte. You know that don't work for me, brother. And literally, she did the most for women's wrestling in the last what, like 20 years.
She did the most. I don't know about that, bro.
She did the most for women's wrestling.
It felt more like a 4-way group project. Just personally, it was a group project, and everybody thinks it was a 4-way group project, and everybody except Bailey thinks they're fucking David Ruffin. Put it like that. Everybody thinking that they're the lead singer in the band, except Bailey, who's just like coasting along.
So, I think that this is maybe the most interesting match on the card because I definitely don't know what's going to happen. I could see where it would make sense for them to give Becky the title and have Lyra, chase Becky. I could also see where, they could go the route of Becky can't beat Lyra because she has yet to beat Lyra. Um, there's also, the added mystique of Becky has been shitting on Bailey for the last 3 weeks. Greatest promo of all time. She's so confused that she's paying $100 to talk to her best friend.
That's her best friend. Oh my god, that shit. She even fucking couldn't hold that in. I was like, bro, you just, that girl is fucking savage, bro.
Best fucking line ever.
That was the line of 2025. She's so confused. She's paying $99. Jesus Christ.
And you ask why Becky Lynch is their top women's wrestler.
You got a mouth on her.
Gee, I wonder why. Shit like that. But I could see that, Becky maybe has the advantage. Becky's maybe winning the match, and then Bailey comes out of nowhere, costs her the match. Her friend, after spending $99 to talk to her, told her to screw Becky Lynch.
I think, Lyra has been champion for what? 6 months?
5 months. She won it the week after the Netflix Raw.
Yes, I've been on 5 months. So I could see. I think Becky's going to win this title. I think it's going to set up Becky Bailey SummerSlam. Because that's the only one-on-one that has yet to happen on a grand scale, which is funny, you would think.
It's funny, they've wrestled at WrestleMania, just not in a singles match.
Right, but you've never seen these two iterations of them, where they're considered, honestly, pillars of the WWE. You've seen Charlotte Becky, you've seen Becky Bailey. No, you've seen Charlotte Becky, you've seen Charlotte Bailey, you've seen Becky Sasha, Sasha Charlotte, Sasha Bailey. You've just never seen Bailey Becky.
Right.
And that would be the ultimate tie up to that era. Does it need the title? No. But considering it, if Becky doesn't win it, I could see it as a triple threat heading into SummerSlam. Because it would be a belt that they both never held. Also, a loop in to that 4 horsewomen era.
I'll go one step further. Do you think that Becky could make it till 2 October for a Hell in a Cell?
You barely make it to Hell in a Cell. If Sasha Bailey made it during the pandemic to Hell in a Cell, I think it could, given the right way they make them interact.
But also keep in mind, Bailey is.
My thing is this.
Bailey's not ready to compete right now, so it possibly.
I mean, yeah. So it would be, honestly, it would just then be Becky Lyra feuding until, let's say, after Clash of Paris, and then Bailey coming back to get her revenge, and it starts at SummerSlam and ends at Hell in a Cell.
Is Clash in Paris after SummerSlam or before SummerSlam?
I want to say it's before, but it could be after, if I'm not. But I would have thought it would have been before.
Well, I mean, either way, this doesn't feel like it's going to.
Oh no, it's after. You're right. It's in the same goddamn month. Jesus Christ! Hey, playing with this shit. Because SummerSlam's August 2nd. I do know that. August 1st and 2nd, or 2nd, 3rd. One of them. Yeah, it's 1st and 2nd. So August 1st and 2nd is SummerSlam, and then 31st is Clash in Paris. So
what you're saying is they got time to cook.
They got time to cook it. I mean, I would think. I mean, given that Bailey's been the most consistent. I mean, is she always over? I think, is she always over? I mean, because people are more attuned to her as a face with the hugger gimmick than what she is now, right?
Yeah.
So it's a weird adjustment to be a face with the de-shedding of that hugger gimmick. Becky, shit, it didn't matter. They just loved her because they loved her.
She's heel right now, and people still love her.
I mean, you remember she squashed fucking Bianca, and they still fucking couldn't do her.
I mean, I was cheering for Becky.
I mean, Black Internet was not having it, but that's a whole different story.
You know, if people, go back to the interview that Bailey did to say, she didn't connect with the she wasn't connecting with the fans. She never felt like she was as big as Charlotte and Becky. And I mean, she's not as big as Charlotte and Becky. That's not news to anybody. But low key, I feel like that interview was a work to get to where we are right now. Obviously Bailey wasn't in, the actual storylines, but people are referencing that interview, right now for everything that's going on in WWE right now with Becky. So I feel like this is that interview. Bailey was what's the word? Aware, that this was going to be something that was going to be turned into a rivalry, after it was said and done. You know what I mean?
That could be the case, but that also could be her MO, though. I mean, just keep in mind, she hasn't been. One can argue that even though she hasn't had the number of reigns that each of those had, she had a better reign than any of those girls have had.
True.
I mean,
I'm definitely not shitting on Bailey. I love Bailey, but if,
no. I mean, we're not shitting on Bailey, but we're just saying in the sense of as much those were, how can I say it? It's like stars, right? Like stars. The ones that are the brightest always crash out the fastest. The ones that are not as bright are always consistent. And I think Bailey in this group wasn't the brightest star. However, she was the most consistent in the arc of her character. She was able to evolve in different phases. Like Charlotte has yet to evolve. Sasha never evolved. Charlotte and Sasha are literally one and 1A. They never evolved their character.
they stayed as Eevees.
Right. Becky, the only difference is her mood. Honestly. Seriously. If she is being happy, she's got the leather jacket on and she's fucking man of the people, unintended. But when she's a heel, she's Lady Gaga. That's it. Like all this, like Seth Rollins, Mrs. Seth Rollins. She's literally with the clothes. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
So,
that's definitely an interesting way to look at it, and you would be very accurate in your descriptions.
but but Bailey has had to go. She had to de-shed something, right? The thing that people attached to her the most, she had to get rid of it and create a new persona to where she seems like a Karen in a sense. And she did a fucking such a good job that now as a face, it's hard to connect that, if you will.
Right.
So that's why I say she's the most consistent because she's the one that had to consistently evolve her character.
And she's at a bit of a stump in the evolution right now.
It's a stump because it's in the sense that here's my perspective. Bailey was just a persona. What she is now with damage control and on was her.
Yes.
And and that is the issue there, right? Like she's a better heel than a face, obviously. But the problem was is that they put her in that. And that story panned out perfectly. The problem was after the story.
Right.
After the story, then what? And that is where she's stuck. Now, Becky and them are always going to be there because their personas are always going to be there. But they really weren't asked to evolve on the main roster, at least as much as Bailey.
It's a weird thing to say, but out of the four horsewomen, it seems like Bailey was the only one to be in jeopardy of being cut.
Which it makes sense. Although she had the best boom bust potential.
Right. I mean, at the very beginning, Becky, and I'm not being fair here. Becky she almost got cut at one point, like in 2016. But Sasha,
Yeah, Becky Dalbo.
yeah, Sasha and Charlotte were never considered to be cut. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only reason Sasha isn't there is because she left, not because she was cut.
Right.
And you know, while Charlotte, yeah, I agree with you. Sasha has not changed one bit since her NXT days. Charlotte low-key has evolved in different ways, but, not to the degree that,
I mean, she evolved like her father, that's for sure.
that is correct. Becky didn't need to evolve. She was the man, and she took the up.
No, she evolved. So she went from she evolved a little bit. She evolved more I would say this, she evolved more in NXT than she did the main event.
Well, no,
that's what I'm saying.
What I'm trying to say is, when she got the man gimmick, she didn't need to evolve anymore. I mean, she had it made. She was the man, people loved her, and she didn't need to do a lot to get over anymore. But
people loved her anyway. That's the issue. People were behind her she had this, like I said, she had that Daniel Bryan following. The man gimmick just exacerbated what was already there.
But she opted to become a heel and become big time Bex. And low key, that was a really underrated run, if I'm being completely honest. I think big time Bex, did a lot of good for the women's division. And, it could have went a lot worse for Becky, if she, left her comfortability zone as the man to be big time Bex, but it still got over. And then, obviously, time to turn face again. She's the man again, and now, it's the right time for her to be the antagonist. She's big time Bex again. So, there's definitely that evolution, but, like, it's 100% like you said, nobody made such a drastic, character change than Bayley, for sure. But getting back to the match, I think it's either going to be double count out or Bayley screws her. That's what I'm going to go with. But I don't see Lara is going to lose the belt. What say you, Kaliko?
I mean, I can see Becky winning it. Because like I always tell you, a heel turn needs the payoff.
But
you don't just do this for the hell of it. You do it because you're expecting an outcome.
I mean, the tag titles was the payoff.
No, the tag titles was not the payoff. The tag titles were just used as a pawn to begin this justification to get to a payoff.
But then it's just Lyra chasing Becky.
She's gonna have to chase her regardless, because you're chasing the person you looked up to the most. See, this is that she's gonna be Cody. This is the Cody leadership all over again. I'm telling you, Becky's winning, bro. I think Becky's gonna win.
All right. So you're saying clean, well, not maybe not a clean win, but a win, a W.
Not a clean win. It will not be clean. It will not be clean. It's gonna be some. I think Becky's gonna pull some shenanigans, or Bayley's gonna try to come back to right or wrong, and therefore she fucks over Lyra in the process. That's where I'm looking at this, because Bayley's not hurt.
Bayley's hurt.
No, she's not. They would have listed her on the injury list if they knew she was hurt.
From what I heard, she had a shoulder injury or something. She'd be out for like 6 months.
They named all the timelines of everybody else that was coming back. Bayley was not on that list, bro.
Okay, so so this might be going a lot longer than we first anticipated. Okay, I'm digging it. All right, so you're barely.
Shout out to Bayley, though. I love Bayley. I just love her consistency.
Cut and dry. Becky wins the title.
I think Becky wins.
I say Smart's finish, Lyra retains. Alright, and that brings us to the undisputed WWE title match. John Cena versus Randy Orton for the second to the last time.
the one last time match that's gonna happen 30 times.
Yeah, gotta sell something on the house shows.
Well, at least they're what house shows? I don't think they do house shows like that anymore.
I'm joking.
Not as much as they used to.
I'm,
Shit.
I'm joking.
Now, if you said OVW, then we own.
Do we even need to say it? John Cena for the win?
I mean, someone kept showing a video, and it was Cena, Orton, and Cena slapped the ref. Oh no, Orton slapped the referee to get disqualified on purpose.
Yeah.
I feel like some shit like that would. Because Orton is the person that can take a but it would be one hell of a callback. I ain't gonna lie to you. And it keeps Orton chasing him at least until, you know what I'm saying? That would be the reason you would have the one last time 3 times in a row.
But I don't think that there's another a match here. I think this, like seriously speaking, I don't see where this is going to continue.
I mean, who's seen is gonna face some Money in the Bank?
There's low-key talk about CM Punk wrestling him. Call back to 2011.
Oh my God. That would require CM Punk getting drafted to SmackDown.
I mean, that really doesn't matter. Randy Orton wrestled Gunther when he was on SmackDown and he was Raw. So
But Randy Orton is Randy Orton. He can do what the fuck he wants. That's a different scenario.
Do you understand that the Pope is from Chicago? The Pope could say, "Let it be," and CM Punk is on SmackDown, and it'll happen.
CM Pope ain't gonna run shit in LA. I'm just letting you know that right now. Keep that shit in Chicago.
But low-key, CM Punk and John Cena had their best matches in LA, if I'm being completely honest. And you can't say no because you were in those at those shows too.
Yes, we were, but that ain't got nothing. No, the 2011 match was that's the only one Meltzer gave 5 stars.
He gave that match 5
for
stars?
For the WWE in the last 10 years. From that match was the last match, and it took them 10 years to get another one. Just saying. Although that would be a cool callback. As much as I would love ACM Punk, John Cena, Money in the Bank rematch 14 years later, I don't see that happening because CM Punk and Roman Reigns are going to be stuck with Seth Rollins.
Right.
So that's why I say, sorry, Pope. Punk got other shit to carry.
How dare you disrespect our Pope?
I'm not disrespecting the Pope. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Cena wins. I think it's gonna be some nefarious DQ shit because I could see Cena at this point being that guy. And you know what's funny? Quick sidebar. You remember that match you poo-pooed on, which was the John Cena Bray Wyatt match?
The Firefly Funhouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
How much is that shit is true right now?
What do you mean?
Because it was funny. It was a breakdown of the match about how Cena's persona started as a heel, and people liked him so much that he became a face, but he never became a heel, or he never became a heel because being a face was giving him the one thing that he cared about, which was winning. All he cared about was winning. Whether it was a heel or a face, he was afraid of failure. That was the whole point of the match. Or that was the whole point of the match. It was basically Bray Wyatt going, you're not a hero. You're a bully who just is pretending to be a hero because you hate the fear of failure. And you need to embrace the person that you are. And Cena literally took all these L's and he had to embrace the person who he was, i.e. selling his soul minus the one. That should never happened. But now he's the person that he feels more comfortable with. Hence why this promo that he's saying that he's a victim of abuse and shit literally is coinciding with everything what Bray was saying. Even beyond the grave, Bray Wyatt is fucking putting gems out this bitch. And I can't be more proud.
Low key, and I know that this might be a stretch. Do you think that we might get a John Cena versus Uncle Howdy match?
If they, both cleared. It's just a matter of, nah, not yet. I don't think it's gonna happen because I think Cena's gonna want considering this is his last go. I mean, I could see him doing an Uncle Howdy, but the problem is that it would have to be something him proving himself right against Uncle Howdy. And how would you incorporate that? Because if it was Bray, I would have been hell yeah. If Bray was here, hell yeah, it would have been that because I could totally see Bray going to him and saying, I knew that you were this the whole time. That's why I wish Bray was here.
But you could do that with Howdy.
And Howdy go get that ass beat? That's
well, I mean, I don't think anybody's expecting Howdy to win, but I don't think anybody is expecting John Cena to lose at this point.
I don't think he's
not going to win the title at WrestleMania and then drop it a couple months later. This is going until at least
SummerSlam minimum. I say SummerSlam minimum.
I agree with that. Possibly
maximum Boston, but
Boston is the last stop, if I'm not mistaken.
That's my point. That's why I said SummerSlam minimum, Boston maximum.
So literally December, the ending of the year, his last match.
Because Cody's laying low. Cody's gonna. I told you, the only person that's gonna get this get back is Cody. Y'all may not like it, but he's gonna be the motherfucker getting the get back.
I mean, I would like to say, yeah, you're right about that.
No, that's who it is.
But then
Cody get his leg back.
But in the same breath, The Rock. You know what I mean?
Fuck The Rock. No. We're not talking The Rock. Cody getting the get back. Cody's gonna find himself somewhere in the Himalayas. Oh no, he's gonna find himself at the Waffle House in College Park on Old National, and then he gonna bring his ass back and whoop that ass. See, that's how I know exactly. Especially the one that's not the one, because there's two Waffle Houses on Old National. There's one that's like there's one on one side of the bridge, and then there's one on the other side of the bridge. But I want the one on the other side of 85, on the east side, on the west side of 85 near the hood. Not the one on the east side of 85 where there's white folks. So yeah, he gonna go to the Waffle House right there in the hood in College Park on Old National Highway and find himself and come back and get that ass.
Well, you heard it here first. Until then, John Cena beats Randy Orton in this match.
Beat is a strong word. I think he's gonna walk out with the title. I don't know if he's gonna beat him.
Will he win?
I mean, he could lose and still fucking walk out with the title. It, will he pin Orton in St. Louis? WWE logic, you take the pin in your hometown, which, yes, that's an 85%, but I see that 15 where Randy Orton wins by DQ and fucking Cena and walks out.
All right. Well, I'm going with no. John
Either
Cena.
way, he's walking out with the title. It's just a back.
Yeah.
Either scenario, he ain't dropping the belt.
All right. Well, I mean, I agree. See, John Cena takes the W. I don't think Randy Orton's going to win, even if it's by like disqualification or count out. So,
Watch he slaps the referee and walks out. I'm just gonna.
how about this? You want to talk about a fucking callback? John Cena distracts the referee. John Cena Sr. comes out of nowhere and punts Randy Orton.
That would be. That would just have to set up a tag match because that would be John Cena versus the Ordens versus the Cenas. That's basically Hatfield McCoy 2.0.
Dude, if we didn't get that in 2007, what makes you think we're getting it in 2025?
Because John Cena Jr. he no yob.
John Cena in 2007, no yob. How many times did John Cena yob in 2007?
I mean, John Cena Jr. yob, no yob, but John Cena Jr. really ain't yobbing.
Yeah, John Cena Sr. definitely not yobbing.
See? So that ain't happening unless Orton taking the yob.
Orton's taking the yob.
That's the only way that would happen.
Well,
But that would be a cool callback to Cowboy Bob in Senior Season. That would be fucking awesome.
well, all will be revealed later today. That'll conclude our coverage of WWE Backlash.
Or maybe Ted DiBiase Jr. brings his ass out. Who knows?
Oh,
Legacy
God, no.
reunion. Hey.
From Orton bailed him out.
I mean, from I mean, a legacy reunion. Maybe Tony goes out with a legacy reunion.
Well, I mean, last time I checked, Ted DiBiase Jr. was in a lot of illegal hot water, so I think that's less likely.
Trying to fuck over Mississippi, boy. You better chill out. Anyways. They may be slow, but they ain't that slow. But anyway.
That will conclude our coverage of.
I love y'all, Mississippi. I ain't mean.
That will conclude our coverage of WWE Backlash. Thank you for listening. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. Join us next Saturday as we review all of the shit that we just previewed. Join us this Tuesday as we interview La Katrina, this Wednesday as we interview BMT, and every Tuesday and Wednesday for new incredible interviews, and follow the show at Wrestling with E, both on X, Thread, and Instagram for information on who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, links to those interviews, and so much more. Follow me personally at JamesJ993. Where can we find Kaliko?
In LA, Money in the Bank, June 7th. I'm gonna bring my briefcase. I'm gonna start cashing in on fools in the in the parking lot. We're gonna see if that works hypothetically. That's what we should do. See, we're gonna have to talk offline. Live cash-ins at Money in the Bank. Oh Lord.
For Kaliko Yachts and Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
And it's not really like a briefcase is more like the lunchbox. See, that's even better because it's like a metal. So I can slap them with the metal and then cash in, and then you know what I'm saying, and then cash in and then have a sandwich while I'm cashing in. That's what I think. Some Capri Suns and Prime. I'm gonna fill it with Prime. There it is. Lunchbox full of Prime.
Sponsor us,
Slap the shit out of it. Yeah, slap the shit out of it. Slap the shit out of him with a briefcase full of Prime.
Oh my god.
Knockout power. See that?
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.